Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Chad Prather Show. We're here in Studio 22, hanging out, Blaze TV. I'm telling you, once again, you know the reminder. You've watched this. You've heard this enough. If you're watching on YouTube, you're watching on Facebook, you still need to go to where podcasts are offered, and you need to hit subscribe and hit download. We are currently ranked about 150 in the comedy category, but I don't want to be in a comedy category. I want to be in the all categories. Last year, we hit as high as 24 in all categories. We want to be back there. And I'll tell you again, people say, it's just because you want to make more money. Yes, exactly. That's 100%. We are capitalists to the core. We believe in capitalism. We believe in making money. I got Steve and Bougie Sean, Party Foul and Bougie. They got money issues. They like to get paid.
We need to get paid.
Do you think Silent Herbert back here works for free? He does not work for free. This costs money to set up here in Studio 22. Director Mark is sitting over there.
Hi, everybody.
Looking fantastic. You know, I admire your beard.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, do you just always keep a beard? He's got a good beard.
You know, funny story, I had never grown a beard until last October.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'll try it out, and it worked out okay.
That's the thing these days. You got to have a beard. Like Metro Jason doesn't have a beard. He keeps the stubble going. Y'all can't see Jason, but y'all have seen his pretty face plenty, and you'll see it a lot more. I want to encourage everybody, if you haven't seen my sit-down exclusive interview with Jussie Smollett that we did, Bougie Sean and Metro Jason did, that just incredible editing. We got into the hard-hitting facts with Jussie Smollett. I don't even know. Jussie, take the wheel. Anyway, we're going to have fun today. I got my good buddy, Katie Thulin here. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I don't know. Hey, pull that microphone just a little bit closer to you. Because I'm like, you getting her pretty good over there, Mark? We didn't do it. A little bit closer? Okay.
Is that better, Mark?
Katie's got the sultry voice. I told the guys the other day, because nothing's off limits on the podcast. I said we're gonna see how we can slyly and secretly slide as many beautiful women onto the podcast as possible, and just be like, yeah, we just want. This is just going to be the Pretty Girl podcast.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. Oh, stop, but keep going.
Don't stop. Tell me more. I know. Now we're very vain around here. We like to look good.
And you do.
Yeah,
you all do. Actually, seriously, there are a lot of good-looking men in here.
There's a lot of good-looking dudes.
Privileged.
So give me a vanity shot real quick, Mark, because I want to show everybody here. Like, my beard's doing something weird. Like, it's not wanting to grow in. Every now and then mine comes in all white trashy. And I have to just shave it off and start over again. And I'm kind of at that point where I don't know. I look so much younger without the beard. I'm sure you do too, Mark. Because we have the baby faces. My baby face is starting to get awfully wrinkled, though. Yes, I'm wearing makeup. Yeah. Katie, what's going on in your world? What's happening? You know what I love about you? I love watching your reactions and your internet interactions on Twitter.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
It's a lot of restraint.
Do you find yourself like just... when you get on Twitter, because I call it the dumpster fire, just saying, I'm going to say whatever I want to say. Like, here we go. I'm not going to hold back.
Yeah, no, I don't do that. Because the thing is, Twitter is, as we know, Twitter is not exactly the most friendly group of people towards conservatives. No. And so, honestly, I don't want to get banned or suspended or anything. I do love the interaction, so I watch my words. And that sucks to say because, yay, America, love it here because we're free, like, ish, because not really. And it does suck because there are sometimes I just want to tell people, I mean, Daddy would not be happy with the words that I would like to use for certain people because they're what they say on there is just so moronic. It's so stupid to the point where I'm not even mad. I'm just super frustrated. And I'm just like, I'm confused, maybe, I guess is a better word.
I think that, my theory is that people have always been crazy and they've always been a little just nuts and, dare I say, stupid. and we all have our stupid moments. We all do. But social media has just expanded the horizon and made it so much more evident that it's just on display.
Yeah. And I was actually talking to Kay in makeup about how incredible it is to see these comments and these people just not care about facts. They don't care about doing ancillary research. They don't care to get to the bottom of any sort of truth. And even if truth is discovered, it doesn't matter. Because in the court of public opinion, you're guilty until proven innocent or you're guilty forever, no matter what.
Right.
And the stupidity is not their fault. And I try really hard to like get myself to understand that it's not their fault, because if you don't live off social media and you don't, go do your research, you're trusting that Anderson Cooper, I know, for the sake of argument, or like Trevor Noah, or Don Lemon. That's even painful for me to say, just giving an example of that.
But isn't it funny, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we didn't even really know who Don Lemon or Jim Acosta or Jake Tapper. We didn't really know who those guys were. Now they're household names.
Yes, and not in a good way. I mean, even on the left, not in a good way. I mean, people don't want to be like, oh yeah, so Don Lemon's. You don't ever hear that. You're not like, oh well, Chris Cuomo and Don Lemon said. No, like you'll go more for the Maddow or for the Cooper, or for Wolf Blitzer or something like that. But like I don't know if it's their self-awareness is not their forte. So I don't know if they really do this because they truly believe what is coming out of their mouth, or they're doing it just because it's what they have to do for a network. I don't know, but either way, it sucks.
Yeah. I have this theory that I miss the good old traditional liberals. We don't have liberals anymore. We don't have just good Democrats anymore. Now we have leftists. And leftists are not liberals. Leftists are leftists. They are trying to out-radicalize each other, and they don't believe what they say. And so on the left, you can crucify me for this. Look, politicians lie. People on the right lie. People on the left lie. Conservatives, Republicans lie. Democrats. We know politicians lie.
Right.
Or at least they say things with the best intentions and it turns out to be untrue or whatever. We don't trust politicians, historically speaking. But the left actually values lying. And when I say the left, I mean leftists. They value lying because for them, it's more important to attain their goal than it is to tell the truth. Mm-hmm. So if telling a non-truth or a lie or being, dishonest about something will get them to the goal faster, they're okay with that.
And the goalposts are constantly moving. So it's just like, all right, you're over here with this, you're over here with this. And honestly, the biggest issue that I take with these people is that the just astronomical amount of hypocrisy. I cannot believe that, like an article that was posted by BuzzFeed, again, I painfully to say that, but they said that
I've got a funny name for BuzzFeed that I won't say on the podcast, but yeah, it's never mind.
But yeah, no, I mean, they had this article because Rami Malek, the guy who played Freddie Mercury, which I'm a diehard Queen girl.
Sure.
That movie, if not
Me too. I'm a
my
Queen
favorite.
Yeah, you are.
I was
a queen.
waiting for that one.
I'm a queen.
Bougie Queen Sean. I love it.
Get it, Bouge.
That's my new name for Shawnee. Bouge.
Bouge.
Hey, Bouge.
No, but they had this article that, and I didn't watch the Oscars, but I was looking for updates because I really was rooting for him. I mean, I watched the making of it and all that, and just what he did to become Freddie Mercury and not portray him as like a mockery or like
right.
It's just like a parody kind of thing. It was wonderful. And his speech that he gave, he said, this is great that this movie about a gay man, I'm a son of Egyptian immigrants, a first-generation American. That's what he said. He said, I'm a first-generation American. And he's like, he didn't bash Trump. He didn't make any sort of political statement. And BuzzFeed comes out and says, Rami Malek is being criticized for calling Freddie Mercury a gay man.
Yeah.
What? Oh, I get that you're upset because he's bisexual, but what?
Yeah.
Okay, you can't say gay, you can't say bisexual, you can't say homo. What can you say? And I think that's the ultimate goal. It's just like completely take away all free speech, all speech at all.
Yeah,
period.
whatever it takes to get that agenda out there, it doesn't matter. So, for instance, leftists, they believe that there are two sexes. And they know they're anatomically and physiologically, biologically, scientifically, there are two sexes. So they had to get rid of the word sex, and they started using the word gender because now they can define gender however they want to do it. So see, it's that little change in language. So if you come out and call somebody by you qualify them and you say, okay, this person's gay. Well, now you're going to get attacked because who knows, at some point in time in their life, they might have slept with a woman.
Exactly.
So they were bisexual. So, the LGBTQ, RSZ, whatever, every letter in the alphabet and every combination of letter, you're sitting in row AA to, whatever.
Yeah, and
these
it's
days.
just
if you don't
so
hit that
unbelievable.
qualification, you're going to get crucified.
And where does it stop? And this is kind of scary, honestly, because it's like it's this cycle of like, okay, you can't say this, but now you can't say this, but now you can't say this, but the other things are kind of forgotten about, so people kind of let it go. But it's like there have been studies and polls and things that like something like 80% of American people hate the PC culture. It's like if everybody hates it, why are we still doing it? But the thing is and it's scary because people are losing their jobs because of this. Like if you misgender, which to me, okay, so hold on. You say that they're infinite genders, right? But you make a documentary on periods that is exclusively to women. So you're drawing a pretty clear line that there's a biological difference.
Did that win
here.
the Oscar?
It won Best Documentary.
The best
periods.
documentary was about periods.
So stupid.
And
It's
somebody
so
got on Twitter
stupid.
last night, and they were, they said, yeah, I turned on the Oscars, and the first thing I saw was something about menstruation equality, and I was like, yep, okay, I'm turning this off.
And people, it's so profound, it's so great. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's about periods. It's not any sort of like groundbreaking thing. Like a woman gets a period. It sucks. End of story.
Sean, it sucks.
I'm doing a documentary on hemorrhoids next.
I think we're going to do an independent film about foreskins. And, because I've said over and over again, these women are having vagina hat rallies. We're going to have a foreskin rally. We're going to get together where turtlenecks is going to look great on the bald-headed guys, and we don't know what we're rallying against, but by God.
And you'll probably get people be like, you're saying that people who don't get circumcised or that get circumcised, you're oppressing them. They're oppressed.
I know. They're getting oppressed, all right. Yeah. No, it's a crazy culture.
It's a nuts
I hate
culture.
political correctness. I will tell you, people who listen to this podcast, they know I refuse to apologize. If I say something, if I put my foot in my mouth, I'm still not apologizing. I mean, people are allowed to make mistakes. That's the beauty of free speech. I can say things wrong. I can come back and be like, maybe I could have said that better. But I'm not apologizing.
Yeah, but are they allowed to make mistakes, though? Because it's getting to the point where you...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, like teachers saying... Tucker had somebody on his show a couple months back. It was a teacher who wouldn't say the name of the new student's gender, but they did say like her and she, but they wouldn't use the person's name, and the teacher got fired for that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what kind of... And I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to like studying. I love to study law. I'm on Pacer all the time, researching case law,
We got to get you a social life, Katie.
No kidding. God, that is not a joke. That is not a joke. But yeah, I love researching it and I love knowing about it because I feel like if you don't know your rights, then you're pretty much screwed. But the more that you know about what kind of legal action can be taken in certain situations, it makes you just that much more street smart. But like, I wish that there was somebody that would come and say, look, stop. And this is why, legally, in a court of law, that will set a precedent for people so it can protect the jobs of people who are just being a free American citizen to do as they please and not breaking any sort of like even ethical boundaries. I mean, this was not an ethical issue 10 years ago. It wasn't an issue 10 years ago.
Right.
I just don't feel like society should conform to this small group of people that get their panties in a wad every time somebody, remotely uses a black or white or red or says they're 1,024 Native American. I mean,
Hey,
it's like,
aren't we all? Aren't we all?
Yeah,
I'm not. I'm 100% white.
Come on.
I am 100% European. I did the DNA test. I did the whole thing, and I was like,
ooh, so the government has your
oh, they got it.
your
They already
info?
had it. We've had this conversation over and over again. I got face Apple has my face and my fingerprint recognition. Clear, when I travel, has my iris scan. The government, I've been in the hospital. I've had surgery, so they got my DNA. They got my blood, so they might as well, swab my
So you
cheek,
truly
too.
believe, like, if you don't have anything to hide, like, you're cool.
No, I think we're all screwed if they want
Fair
us to
enough.
be. I think if it ever breaks out, which is all the more reason why, quite honestly, the Second Amendment is important. Because let's face it, if they wanted to, it could get very oppressive very fast if it needed to. And there's a good chance, depending on who wants to oppress you, that we don't have a chance in hell, regardless of how many AR-15s we got hiding in the closet or how much ammunition. But by God, I'm going down fighting. I'm not going to put up with this.
Yeah, but they can whine and scream all they want, but they're not on the sides with the guns. And I'll tell you this, like, if you read actual statistical data, speaking of the Second Amendment, about how the crime rate and murder rate has declined in recent years, but gun ownership has gone up. It really truly blows my mind how people are not seeing the correlation. If you know somebody has a gun, you're probably I think it was 40% of polled prisoners said that they were scared that their attacker was armed, and another 30% said, oh yeah, they did shoot at me. Okay, two things: if you know somebody has a gun, probably not going to go for that person. Yeah. So there you go there. Second thing is, a good guy with a gun is the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun. Period. End of story. That's it. And people that want to argue gun control, it's all propaganda. And I just wish that's a big issue with me. I wish that people just understood that gun control is complete BS. It's complete BS. I mean,
amen.
Yeah, it's so dumb because
what you got, party foul? You go chime in on that?
No, I was just giving an amen.
You
I was
just
just a good guy with a gun stops the bad guy with a gun. Period.
I mean, what I was a teacher, I was a substitute teacher. I stopped teaching because I felt completely unsafe. Yeah. What am I going to do if somebody comes in here? Okay, guys, lights off. Let's line up against the wall. And no, that's not doing anything but grouping them together and saying, hey, there's a bunch over here. You can just kill two birds with one stone, no pun intended. And I don't mean this to sound insensitive.
That's real talk.
But yeah, it is.
I
mean, but if I have a license to carry. I went through the training. I have thousands of hours at the range under my belt. The class, a permit that I spent money on, that I did a class there and took a test for. If I had my Smith & Wesson Shield 9mm, I hope you don't have any pistol sponsors. But if I had that, my kids would have a hell of a better chance. I can guarantee you that. People are like, you can't guarantee that. What if you hit a bystander? What if you kill a kid? I, again, don't want to sound insensitive, but if somebody's coming down the hall trying to shoot kids, that's a chance I'm willing to take. I'm sorry. It just is. And if you're trained, you know when to pull the trigger and when not to. Rant over. Sorry.
You're so opinionated. I dig it. I love it.
It's just
Katie
people
Thulin, everybody. What is your Twitter handle?
It's at KDT121.
At Katie T.
KATIE.
I'm reading it off of the screen over there. 121. So there we are. Yeah. I love it. I love following you on Twitter because you give it back to them, and there's a few favorites that I got out there. You're one of them, and I enjoy it.
Thank you.
And I agree with you on this thing. I think everything that can reproduce should reproduce. I believe everything that can be armed should be armed. I believe.
Seriously.
I'm all for freedom, man. I got an old friend. He bought these rabbits, and they were like show rabbits, and
what are show rabbits?
Yeah, trust me, they show everything. They were doing like these stock show deals, and they were these prize rabbits.
Do they do tricks?
No, I guess they're just pretty or something. Okay. I don't know how you judge a rabbit, but
meat rabbits. They raise them for meat. You raise 3 rabbits.
Yeah.
And they're
just
judged
redneck
by quality,
over here.
All that kind of stuff.
Is that serious? Is that true?
That is true.
Yeah, if you go to the stock show, they'll show you rabbits.
You also raise like stud rabbits also, and the same thing. They judge them by how they're formed, their muscle build, all that good stuff.
Do you have a part 2 of that where they cook the rabbit and people have to judge a taste test contest?
Well, I do.
That's that's a whole different competition now.
That's called the barbecue cook-off.
That could be parlayed into several different situations.
No, but this guy, he got these show rabbits, and another guy was sitting there looking at him. He goes, "You going to breed him?" He goes, "Hell yeah! Anything that can breed should breed." So we sat around watching the rabbits all afternoon.
But according to AOC,
it created a bunch more show rabbits.
Yeah, according to AOC, you should think about whether or not to have kids because the climate's going to kill you.
Well, yeah, don't have kids, folks. Don't have kids. And see, that's another lie because, first of all, did you see the Dianne Feinstein thing where they were the kids?
The one time I found myself going, okay, Dianne.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. It's the one time. And I felt sorry for her because she's dealing with kids and she's trying to do it as diplomatically as possible. And I tweeted the video out, and I was like, you should have just said, and I went into Adam Sandler mode because I was like, you should have asked them all because they're going, we need this new Green Deal. This is because we've only got 12 more years to live. And I said, Di-Fi should have said, okay, I want one of you kids to tell me what a combustion engine is. No? Yeah, shut up! That's what I wanted. That's shut up!
Seriously.
I mean, come on. They're brainwashing these kids. It reminds me of the Hitler Youth.
Seriously, and that's what's so crazy. It's like they call us the cultists, and they call us drinking. They say that we're drinking the Kool-Aid. But well, Who allows their child to be marched into a politician's office to protest some climate change deal? Like, go outside. Like, read a book. What are you doing? Like, and that's the problem. Are these parents, do they know that these kids are doing this? Like, I feel like now they have nothing left, so they're going after kids. And the kids can't fight back. So it's like, well, we got to get the kids because we got to get them early. We got to get them. I mean, just look at David Hogg, not to go back to the Second Amendment thing, but look at David Hogg. He's standing up in front of a bunch of people doing the Hitler thingy with arm. Are you serious? And the scariest voice I've ever heard on a human being. He's like, no more. I'm like, okay, that's some.
But that's another thing. That's what I mean when I say leftists don't believe. They're willing to lie. So you take this, the world's going to end in 12 years. And look, how many people on the left do you know have oceanfront property? Everybody in Hollywood lives in Malibu. Yeah. They don't believe that the water's rising and that they're not selling their oceanfront property. They're not selling their beach property. Nope. They're not doing that because they don't believe it. They don't believe that the waters are going to rise and flood out, the coastal areas and stuff like that. They're not a single person selling their property because they don't believe it. Then they get on their private jets and they fly in. The World Summit, what was it? The World Climate Summit that they were having. It was going to be a record number of private jets coming to that. And here's the climate.
The World
Summit.
Climate Summit.
This is 1,500 private jets. Reverend Swindle just wants one jet. We're talking 1,500. 1,500 private jets flying in to do a climate summit? Are you kidding me? Leonardo DiCaprio is going to get up there and lecture me on the freaking climate, and he just got off of his yacht? I mean, give me a break,
I'd let
bro.
Leo lecture me. I don't care what Leo's talking about. I'd listen to him.
I could be tempted with Leo. Look, I'm a dude, but I could be tempted with Leo. Tell me more.
Yeah.
Tell me more about the weather,
the environment?
Leo.
Yeah, I totally get it. Let's sign the deal. Whatever, Jack Johnson.
You want me to sign this prenup right here? Okay, I'm
Sure.
good with that. Yes, let's do that.
That's
okay.
fine.
You know what? I could be on the left for a little while.
Oh, I'll
I could
totally
also be on
turn
the
liberal
bottom.
for you. Yeah. Hey, Leo, my number is 8. I'm just kidding.
You can follow me on Twitter at KDT123.
Give me a holler.
Sean, what were you going to say?
I wasn't going to say anything. I was just enjoying her.
Oh, yeah, I know. Katie's going to have to be a regular guest. She's got to be a regular guest because she's I love
thirsting over Leo DiCaprio.
Yeah, you could do whatever you need to. We'll make sure he gets a copy of this. I love outspoken people, man. I love people that get passionate. Like your chest even got red. You're fired up.
I know. Well, thank you for giving me a platform because it's really hard to do it in 280 characters to get people to understand that. Look, you don't have to. Here's a little example of this. It's not impossible to get along with liberals. My parents are the most right-wing conservative. Hi, Mom and Dad. What's up?
Hey, kids.
Love you. And my pregnant sister. What's up? Just getting out of
I thought you were about to tell your parents you were pregnant right here on the Chad Prather show. I was like, This is an exclusive. Mom, Dad, wasn't me or Silent Herbert.
I'm going to be getting calls from my parents. Are you sure he was lying? Are you sure he was just being funny? Yeah. Yes. No. But no, they're the biggest conservatives I know. I mean, right wing, bleed red, for the sake of argument. But their best friends are the biggest liberals you will ever meet. They are such hardcore Democrats. They came over on Christmas Day. We had a great time for 4 hours just hanging out. It's not impossible.
No, of course
Politics does not have to consume every ounce of your being. And I think that's where a lot of people have conservatives can see that, I feel like. And I feel like some Democrats can. I mean, most of my liberal friends they're not lost their mind crazy. But I just feel like these normal people who are watching these, and mainstream media is at the core of this. They are the reason this is all the way it is. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it or say that it is, it is not Trump. And stop blaming Trump for everything. You're a human being that has control over your actions. He is one man. And if you let one man have that much control over you, you need to reevaluate. And it's possible. It's possible.
Let's talk about the mainstream media for a minute. Because let's go back. I'm going to throw a couple of things at you. I want your opinion on it. You might have one. You might not have one.
I probably will have one.
You probably will have one. We haven't pre-rehearsed any of these things, so I'm just going to throw them at you. Give me your perspective on this the Covington kids, the Covington Catholic School with the guy banging the drum and the Black Israel and the whole thing. That deal goes down at Lincoln.
Well,
What a spin on that, first of all.
To me, okay, again, my dad's in media too, and he worked his way up from a camera guy in Bethlehem, Oklahoma. Media is not the way it used to be. And it is so absolutely heart-wrenching that these kids had to go through that. And they're teenagers, and they were being bullied by a bunch of adults. They were being bullied by probably some of their heroes. Jim Carrey's bullying you. You know, like, that cannot be good for the teenage psyche at all. And there's no law or legal or lawsuit that will make that okay. And the fact that people are still, now they're blaming it on white privilege. Let's take a step back, because the FCC does have loose regulations on, you know, what responsible journalism is. That's why the Communications Act was created. That's why the FCC was created, to make sure that news was being reported responsibly. This was irresponsible, and it was intentionally irresponsible. And that is creating, and I don't, unless somebody goes after them and hits them where it hurts, and that's in the pocketbook, and that's suing the pants off of every single media outlet for everything that they say that is distributing fake news in any way, shape, or form, until that happens, we're going to have to deal with this. But
Yeah.
I mean, I hate having to like say to resort to court and resort to lawsuits. That's the only thing that's going to stop this when they're finally
So you're
held
right. You
accountable.
got him in a pocketbook. So Nick Sandmann, who was the kid who obviously, you know, they crucified this kid. I had family members who were like, yeah, he was in the wrong. He was in the wrong. And I'm like, you watched one angle of a video. You need to watch the entire thing and see what happened. And then when I showed it to them, they're like, no, he still had that smirk on his face. I'm like, it's a child. It is a child who was in an uncomfortable situation and did what he did. From the angle that you saw, you were brainwashed just long enough by the mainstream media to form your opinion, and now nothing's going to change it. So we all do that. It doesn't matter what side on the political spectrum you are. I mean, we've all done it to some degree. We tend to filter things through our own paradigm. But like Bougie Sean, you feel like you have a lot of white privilege. Like you have. Shoot over there to Sean, Mark. I want to get his take on this. Like, you have so much white privilege in your life.
He said, yeah. Duh. Why wouldn't I?
I know. I mean, it's just. I mean, you've lived it. So I just want to get that take,
You want some
that
of my
hot
white
take.
privilege?
Yeah, brush it off on me, please.
That's why Steve sits so close to him. So I'm saying, look at Steve. Steve has never had a privileged day in his life. This is a hardworking man. Look at him.
Every day.
Hard. But no, I'm looking at this thing, and they're going to sue the pants off. Well, who is it? The New York Times, $250 million is the lawsuit there, and they're not. Is it the
Be a lot of
Post or the
job cuts.
Times?
A lot of job cuts.
So they're doing. I mean,
Maybe both.
And let me tell you, they didn't just go out and hire an attorney. They got the best. I mean, that cat, he goes for the jugular. So they're gonna. I mean, Nick Sandmann never has to worry about anything the rest of his life. He's going to be a wealthy young man.
Let's hope he wins. Let's hope he
I
wins.
think he will, and I think he'll give it away.
I think he
think-
will too. I think
Hey,
he'll
just
he'll
because,
absolutely.
You know,
I think fake news is going to become very, very expensive in the days ahead.
Hopefully, because that's when they'll be like, oh, maybe we should think twice.
Well, here's the problem, because the news media goes out there, ruins somebody's life, and then tomorrow they're on to the next story. They don't care.
Right.
That person's got to deal with that from now on. So that mainstream media spin is interesting. That's why I do encourage people. I think podcasts, first of all, are in a big way the media of the future. I think you can get more from podcasts and getting people's opinions and just getting perspectives on these things, because it's just a conversation that you can have about culture and life and all these things. And people don't trust the media anymore. They
well,
just
also,
don't trust
I
them.
mean, good podcasts. And
podcasts.
Not like Joe Rogan and Jack Dorsey. I mean, I love Joe Rogan. I will say Joe Rogan's stand-up was like one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I really think that Joe Rogan does try. Like, I really think that he really tries to maintain a somewhat centric, outlook. But... he's Joe Rogan.
He
I
tries.
mean, he's Joe Rogan. But I definitely think so.
Yeah, and I respect Joe, because Joe knows how to get information out of people. He knows how to do
good
that.
at
He knows
interviewing.
how to have
He's
the
really good at
conversation.
Good at interviewing.
And he gets a good conversation, and he knows how to challenge them on the topics where he brings it around, and at least he gets their opinion out of the deal. You don't always know where Joe stands on things. You just have to make those assumptions. But yeah.
But he calls people out. Like, he'll be like,
does.
look, this is, with the Covington kids, he
Yeah.
had I think it was a New York, I don't remember if she's a New York Post writer or New York Times writer. that her name is like Bari or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But they were talking about the Covington kids. And I actually respected that she kind of admitted that you jump to conclusions. I mean, it's just so stupid. And it's so, the podcasts now that are, news oriented, they pretty much stay in their lane, in lack of a better term. Like you rarely see a Joe Rogan's a one of a kind, and he's been in Hollywood for a long time. So when it comes to actual, I do agree with that. Podcasts are the future, and I think that my marketing brain is like, how can you make this so that people will stop completely watching mainstream media and basically convert them and. I gotta sit on that.
And our angle on this show is we try to take, yes, I'm a political junkie, and I have people who come on and they're like, well, are we going to talk about politics? I'm like, no, we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. If you want to talk about politics, we'll talk about politics. But I like to take a macro view of culture. Let's talk about everything. On our show, Humor Me, that's on Blaze TV, we take a look at, what it means to be a man, what it means to be a person of color. What does it mean to be, we look at all of these things, marijuana, obesity. Y'all don't even know we're doing an obesity show, but we're doing an obesity.
I'm not sitting down for that interview.
You're sitting down for that interview. We're going to talk obesity, Shawnee. Now we're going to do an episode on obesity. We're going to do, we're gonna do a sex.
Party foul yells sex from the corner.
Of course, Party Foul's gonna yell sex.
Yell sex
but we are doing an episode on sex. That's gonna get fun.
Sex is a big part of human life.
It's the biggest part.
Exactly.
it's actually
life.
a primary driver of all human actions. So yeah.
To some extent.
Both
nowadays.
good and bad.
Unless Trump has ruined it for you.
Yeah, Trump has. Did you see that in salon.com? Did you see that article?
Yeah, that's really, that's disheartening.
Where people are actually saying there's a study out there where they're trying to say that Trump is ruining people's sex lives.
Which I feel like that's a personal problem. Like regardless of what it is, even if you are being influenced by Trump for that, like you need to see somebody about that.
If you are mixing up your sex life with Donald Trump, you got a problem.
You've got bigger problems.
And I promise you this, the only thing that would mess up my sex life when it comes to Trump is if I had to stare at a naked picture of Trump while trying to have sex. That's the only, they'd be like, I'm out.
You know what's funny though, back to the conversations in the podcast that you were going to have, do you not think that those really core conversations, like obesity, even sex, things like that, like what it means to be a man, what it means to be, a different race, that's all been tainted by politics.
Mm-hmm.
Like how do we get back to it being just a normal conversation?
So before we got started, you said, well, why can't gay just be gay anymore? Why? Like,
I was talking about the Rami Malek.
We were talking about the guy, the newscaster out in L.A. who died tragically. He was having a sexual relationship in a hotel room and died of a drug overdose. And, the details unfortunately came out. They were doing some pretty freaky things by whoever's standards, whatever. But, they were doing some pretty freaky things. And so you made the comment. You said, why can't people just go have gay sex anymore?
Like, why do you have to complicate
That's what I've been saying
it?
for years.
Why are you going to put drugs in places drugs don't need to be?
Yeah.
Why do you have to wear leather Why? I get that people have their own thing, and I'm all for freedom because it is a free country. But, people are dying because of that. I just feel like maybe go seek a little deeper meaning. Maybe it's not the guy for you.
Maybe he forgot the safe word.
Oh, well, yeah.
He was putting drugs up his butt and he died of an overdose. So
he couldn't remember the safe word.
Yeah,
he wanted a quicker rush.
He could, yeah. Well, he put too much up there.
You know what's really kind of grinds my gears about stories like this is nobody's like, where'd he get the meth?
Yeah.
Like, we should probably go see where he got the meth.
Yeah.
Like, he stuck an illegal substance in his bum.
Twice.
Where is he getting that illegal substance? Like, how about we start an investigation? This could, I feel,
in
possibly...
a sanctuary city, by the way, L.A., but whatevs. Whatevs.
Well...
What do you think about the border wall?
Oh.
What do you think about it? What's our situation? Because I know it's easy to make the blanket statements, but what do you think would solve this illegal immigration situation? Is it just a wall? Is it a complex thing?
Well, it's... I think that this caravan had influence. I think it had influence from people that would benefit from the illegal immigration issue and immigrants being in the country and get for votes. I mean, I've seen the map. I've seen an overlay map of what sanctuary cities and who won, what either Trump or Clinton from
and it's
they
interesting.
completely overlap.
The caravan went to San Diego. They went to Tijuana. They didn't go to McAllen, Texas.
No.
And that was they took a longer route to get to California.
I didn't know that, but that is very telling. Yeah. And the thing is, you need an ID to get verified on Twitter, for God's sake. But in Texas, I always had to show, I didn't know that maybe it was optional in some places, but did you have to show your ID?
Yep.
I always have to show my ID to vote. So why you don't need it to have a say is pretty clear when it comes down to it. And it was also clear when, Project Veritas exposed Beto's campaign going down and actually helping these. And it is really terrifying how close that Senate race was. It should have never been that close. Yeah. And I swear to God, if Texas turns red, I'm going to lose it.
You mean if it turns blue?
Or blue, sorry.
Because Fort Worth voted blue for the first time in history. Fort Worth voted blue. So I just spoke the other night at the Reagan Day, Lincoln Day dinner in Parker County and had a great turnout. Ted Cruz's family was there. His father was there. The guy, Ted Cruz's father, I don't know if you've ever been around Rafael Cruz, but this guy's a passionate dude.
He's Cuban, right?
Yeah, he came up and gave the invocation. He prayed before the thing. Honest to God, it made me cry. I had tears. My wife looked up at me and she goes, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I'm verklempt." And so because he was just talking about it, he said, we want to be able to tell our children about America and what we believe and how thankful we are. But we're so close to not having that America that we can tell them about and be proud of anymore. And I'm like, he's right.
Yes, and his son is actually showing it. Ted Cruz is one of the most passionate people when it comes to actually getting laws, getting them done, presenting them. I mean, he had Kate's Law. He even had the idea for El Chapo stuff, to fund the wall. I mean, he is continuously showing that he's working for the American people. And I think that is a situation or a topic that I wish that I could scream from the rooftops. The Democrats are so obsessed with getting Trump out of office. They have released, one policy that was talking about cow farts on people unwilling to work.
How about that?
I'm the
boss. How about that?
I'm the boss. Until then, we're in charge. No, you're not. But
I'm the boss.
It's just catch me outside. Yeah. Not next to the farting cows, though. So, no, it's just, by the way.
People just don't want to eat hamburgers for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah, well, I mean, Cory Booker doesn't. Did you see her stewing or doing chili last night?
Yeah.
She paid $2,000 a month for that. Did you see how small that kitchen was?
Yeah. And let's bring that up.
That's New York City, though.
No, it's
D.C. Oh. So her apartment in D.C. So they did it was a little bit of a hit job. They did an article about how now she's living in this posh apartment complex that has however many tens of thousands of square feet of entertainment space with all these massage and hydrotherapy and spas and all this stuff. And here she was complaining about she wasn't going to be able to afford an apartment in D.C. Before she took office and actually started getting a paycheck, which is $174,000 a year. But so now she's living in this place that goes between $2,000 and $5,000 a month, depending on this. Like a studio is
That's
$1,800 a month, and so somebody jumped on there, and they were right because I researched it a little bit, and they were like, it's a nice apartment complex, but it's not that nice the way the article describes it, like it's some posh, luxurious, exotic thing. But it is still $1,800 to $2,000, and you have to be a certain level of income in order to qualify to live in there. So now that's significant because here's a woman who is pushing socialism to the nth degree and saying, hey, we got to take care of everybody. We got to take care of the poor. We got to take care of the lower income folks and all this stuff. But yet you're going to choose to live in a place that it looks bad. It really looks bad. But this girl's a train wreck. It's like watching a train wreck in slow motion.
Did you hear that they can't even find her apartment? Apparently she doesn't have an address in her district. She has. No,
she doesn't.
The mailman was like, I've never seen her here. Neighbors are like, what are you talking about? They don't know where she came from. Like, it's...
I wouldn't want to live in the Bronx either. I'm from New York, and I would never live in the Bronx. I'm sorry.
You're a Brooklynite. You're
I'm a Brooklyn kid.
Nobody
They
wants to
can
live in the Bronx. The Bronx has kind of gotten bougie, though.
Some
They
parts
stepped it
are.
up.
Some parts are. I mean,
It's because the gays move in.
some parts are bougie, but that's everywhere.
J-Lo's from the Bronx.
Yeah.
J-Lo's
And
everything.
She's not in the Bronx anymore.
No,
No,
she's
she ain't
not.
living on the
But
no.
J-Lo's everything. Just wanted to add that in. So Leo
She
and
is
J-Lo,
everything. Wife
Yeah.
don't listen
You've
to me.
got my
J-Lo
info.
is everything except for.
And I say, listen, the gays moved in, and I'm telling you, man, that's where you always want to live where the gays move in because they make it nice. So that's I don't care.
That's
I'll
where
get in
Metro
trouble for
Jason
that. I
lives.
don't care.
Metro Jason lives with the gays.
Metro,
Cedar Springs.
Jason,
This is correct.
you
I live in the Dallas neighborhood. Hey,
He lives in the
I live there
neighborhood.
too. I live there. I just moved out of there a month
it's
ago.
okay, we can go hang
Yep.
out at the karaoke bar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He knows the
JR's.
name.
exactly.
Is
He
it
knows the name.
JR's?
No, it's actually
Rodeo.
the cowboy place, the round.
The round.
The roundup. Yeah.
And I only know that because someone,
Mm-hmm.
a girl, asked me to go the other day.
She was
We'll
around
see
up.
what happened was.
See how? Let me tell you how I wound up in jail.
She would round up.
Soliciting a male prostitute. I just thought we were having drinks.
My pool is awesome. I mean, you do have to deal with a lot of Speedos sometimes.
It's a lot
but-
of smuggling Mr. Potato Head inside that thing.
But when the
It
girls
gets
are
They
there-
always bring excellent cocktails. They do.
no
They
pun
do.
intended.
They're like, do you want a cocktail? Mm-hmm.
My
Fabulous.
Lord, have mercy. You know what? I can talk about the gay community. I love them. I love them. My agent is gay. God bless him. He owns it. He's proud. We have the best jokes.
And
It's
you know
fun.
what's funny?
I
They're
could
the
care
first
less.
people to call out other people. They're the very first people to be like, "What are they talking? Like that's so stupid. We don't care what you call. You know,
Yeah.
like it's such a small. One of my best friends is gay, and I just God love him, but he's like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed right now. Like if people just make it out to be such a huge deal, but now they're at each other's throats because transgenders doesn't want to be like, or they don't want transgender included into the LGBTQ because
They
it's
don't.
not. And I think they have a valid point there. I'm
They do
sorry,
have a valid
do.
point because if you take LGBT and you really, and I've done this before, if you really, and I won't do it now, but if you really break down what those acronyms mean and what the meanings of those letters are, they actually contradict each other. They violate each other. So now at the Gay Pride Parade out in L.A. in West Hollywood, they don't want transvestites participating, because they believe that transvestites are an insult to the transgender community. And so now it's like, it's that circular firing squad. So if you're a transvestite, you're not allowed to participate.
And
You're not
women's rights
welcome
groups are now mad at them because they're like, well, you're not really a woman. Like, so they're going to end up eating each other. I hopefully not just the LGBTQ, but just like everybody. Like the fact that people are getting mad at, people like Candace Owens and Kanye West, and they're calling these people, these African American people, racist and white. It is the dumbest thing I have ever heard. But they're going to end up eating each other because there's going to be something that,
So rip it right from the headlines from this week. Martina Navratilova, who is a lesbian and a world-renowned tennis champion
on
legend.
that name pronunciation.
And she comes out and she says, it's fun to say, it just rolls off the tongue, Martina Navratilova.
No, it
and then
doesn't.
I mess it, Martina Navratilova. And so she comes out and says, okay, so transgender, if you're a man and you think you're a woman and you're going to come out and you're going to compete in women's sports, not only is it insane, but it's cheating.
Mm-hmm.
And so then that community tried to crucify her because she's telling the truth. I mean, it's insane. You have these guys who are doing track meets against these girls and wrestling, and they're kicking their ass. I mean, they're kicking their ass, and they're like, somebody's going to get hurt.
And who's to say people won't fake it? Like guys won't just do that to be able to get ahead in the race.
They said there's a weird.
I mean, I suck as a dude, but I think as a chick,
They said
I
there's a
think I
lot of
can
weird
win.
standards. There's a lot of standards in place for that to not to happen. But like in Connecticut over the weekend, there was a race. It was a big race, and the first and second place were transgender girls.
So there was a whole category for transgender?
No, it was a girls' race, but the two guys, the first and the second place people were transgender. So
Which they were guys.
they were.
Yeah, how do you negate
essentially
that
guys.
evidence?
So
Yeah.
the girl in third place was a girl, and she said that she missed out on pretty much going to another track meet where more college coaches will see her play. So she pretty much got eliminated from
that's too bad.
probably getting a scholarship because two
That's really too
transgender people beat her from first and second. And it's just, and they said it's standard because they said that you have to be going through the hormone process for you to be classified in the girls.
Just going through the process,
Well,
you
yeah.
don't have to be
I can't remember
fully
exactly.
involved?
I can't remember
I don't
the
even
process,
care.
but
That's
you have to
laughable.
be, like you literally have to be. You have to be in a certain stage for you to be allowed to race as a girl in Connecticut. But they said there's 17 other states that have rules in place to say if you're transgender, you are allowed to race as a girl because you have to go through this
Oh,
standard.
because hormones affect bone density. That's
so
logical.
that's what they're saying, which is
so
insane.
ludicrous. That's
I mean, she
preventing
blew it.
people from getting scholarships, though.
I've used a few
Yeah,
women's
it's-
restrooms
Oh,
at the
man.
gas station.
Steve was going through the drive-thru the other day and had his head turned to the guy at the window, and the guy said, "Excuse me, ma'am," and he turned around. He's like, "It's sir."
Oh my gosh, like the GameStop ma'am guy lady.
GameStop, man. That's been that dude.
Apparently, he's a rapper.
yeah. He did a.
No, he's not a
deal.
rapper.
No, he came out. Have you seen it, Shawnee?
She.
No,
Whatever.
Yeah, ma'am. They did a
Isn't
ma'am
it-
rap.
Ma'am, yeah.
no, they didn't.
Yes.
Yeah, he did. He did a ma'am rap. It's on YouTube. We need to pull that up at some point in time and watch it. It came out and
Oh, we need
what
to
a
make a
joke.
parody.
I mean, the whole thing is like, oh, come on. Look, and look, by the way, Katie, these guys know I'm going to make fun of everybody. I don't care if you're gay, straight, black, white. I don't care what you are. I'm going to make fun of you because that's in my job description. I mock people. That's what I do, and I'm not apologizing for it. I love everybody. But I'll not only love you equally, I will mock you equally, and that's my life.
But isn't
thing.
what everybody wants is equality? So if you're going to, why can't,
You
if
get
you're-
mocked equality.
Yeah,
we make
exactly.
jokes about you equally. We're going to do that. I'm going to joke about men. I'm going to joke about women. I'm going to do all these things. We went to the restaurant last night. We were in studio. We shot a podcast, yesterday's episode with Jason Piccolo. Went to the restaurant, and it was me, Jason, my wife, Jade, and we were sitting there, and our waitress came up, and she was just a lovely, lovely African-American girl, just a beautiful girl. And we admired her ring. She had a beautiful ring on. I said, I love that ring. And my wife spoke up and said, "Yeah, that's a beautiful ring." And she said, "Yeah, this is the one my wife gave me," and all that stuff. And so she slid in the whole thing. And so we don't care. I don't care. We had the best time just visiting and hanging out and talking, and we were asking about her wife and all that stuff. And then we started taking bets as to whether her wife was white or because
She was, wasn't she?
I bet she was white.
Oh, you never
I never
found out?
I never found out. But I bet she was white.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about most conservatives is we don't care. We
That's the
do
thing.
not care.
So here's the thing. So like this Molly, how do you say her name? Molly Obama?
Malia?
Is that how you say her name? Malia?
Malia?
That shows you how much I don't care.
Malia?
Yeah.
No, so I'm stuck on the Kamala. Like it should be Kamala, but I'm stuck on the Kamala. 'cause
Wait,
she
is
calls
it not
No,
Kamala?
she calls it Kamala. Did you know
Wait,
that?
did
That's
she have a
Jussie's
choice
aunt?
in that? Because
It's
Isn't that Jussie's aunt?
that's Jussie's aunt.
Is that for real or
Jussie-
oh, has it not been proven?
I don't know.
Because I
don't
see the
think
memes and I get most of my news from memes,
Which is a valid
but I never know if it's real or
valid
not.
news source.
That's,
Truthfully.
that is, way to be honest, party fell.
I just
It's better than CNN.
I get most of my truth, as Oprah would say, my truth from
truth.
memes. It's my truth.
Somebody
your
make that a
truth.
meme.
Yeah.
I get my truth from memes.
That's great.
But so yes, Kamala, which is hard to say because it should
why
be.
does that make me cringe?
Because
That
it
is such
sounds like a camel.
it's-
Kamala. Kamala's a much prettier name. but
Kamala.
Malia Obama. Okay, so she's 20 years old and she was drinking rosé wine or whatever. And I don't know why it matters what kind of wine. Like rosé
underage.
gets you any
you don't,
less
you don't
drunk.
drink rosé? Excuse me?
I don't drink the rosé. We don't
He's
drink the
also
sweet
not
wine.
underage.
You don't drink rosé?
No.
Excuse me.
That's a party foul. No, rosé. So everybody kept talking about, she's drinking rosé. She's drinking rosé. Like rosé would get you any more less drunk. I mean, you get set back
Actually
on
has
wine.
a lesser alcohol content
Does
than
it?
normal
Is that the
wine.
deal?
It's like
Katie with the fact
11%.
check.
Oh, I buy my wine based off alcohol percentage. So if it's not 13.5 or above, I'm out. Like
Nice.
I'm not wasting calories on
No,
something
it-
that's 11%.
So everybody was talking about this so-called outrage over Malia drinking wine, and I'm like, where's the outrage? I haven't heard anybody outraged.
I was a little bit outraged only because she is 20. She's not of legal drinking age. I'm sorry. You cannot act like you are above the law because any other 20-year-old that would do that would probably go to jail.
Can you imagine if they had a picture? Well, I mean, Brett Kavanaugh drank beer in
If
high
she's
school.
with her parents.
But now
Was
let's
she?
say
I
if
don't know.
no, she wasn't. So now let's say Nick Sandman, the Covington Catholic high school kid. Let's say all of a sudden pictures came out of him drinking beer.
Oh.
How would the media react?
He's a drunk.
To
He's
that?
a drunk. He's Kavanaugh's son. I don't know.
Completely different. It would be completely different. We all know that that's the truth. But I don't care what Malia. I can't even say her damn name. Why do I care what she's drinking? I don't. Who knows?
Like, I didn't really
God bless
care,
the
but
kid.
she
I
was
don't-
just underage. I think Anna Navarro blocked me because I commented. I was like, way to promote underage drinking.
You know
And I
what?
think she blocked me
I'm
on
gonna
Twitter.
say something right now. You're talking about getting blocked on Twitter. I'm not a flamethrower. I'm not a flamethrower.
you're
I'm
not.
not
You're-
mean spirited. I just like to make fun. But I people think that I'm some. I've been called a political radical and all these things.
What?
I'm like, yeah, I know, right? I'm like, okay. And I'm not an activist. I'm not except for pro-life, and I'm just, but I don't get blocked by a lot of people on Twitter. But a couple of years ago, I got blocked by Nicole Arbor. So if Steven Crowder's watching this, and I know you and Nicole are doing a bunch of stuff these days, you need to tell her to unblock me on Twitter because I like Nicole Arbor. And she blocked me, and I don't know what I did to block her. She did get blocked.
I kind of see she could have done what I do sometimes, and sometimes you're just in that moment and your block button is just getting a workout, and you're just like, oh my God, go away. Stop clogging up my timeline with this crap. This is so annoying. I got blocked by Michael Avenatti.
I would love to get blocked by Mike Avenatti.
People are like, why do you want this? I was like, I don't know why I want this, but I do. And it happened. And I was really proud because that means I got under his skin. Something I said made him, just even a sliver a bit, like a little tiny bit, made him a little
fist
upset.
bump on
Thank
that.
you.
Good job,
Thank
Katie.
you.
That's good. The only person I ever wanted to get blocked by was John Cusack. I wanted to get blocked. I tried because that dude, he was going through a phase of blocking everybody. And I love John Cusack as an actor, but what a douche nozzle, man. I mean, this guy's deranged. And so I was doing everything I could. Like I was tagging him in everything. He's still right there with me, though. Still right there with me.
Oh, man. See,
Who
that's what
was it
people
that
just don't
followed
care.
me? Who was it that? Oh, Dana Loesch came out of her cave and liked my Klobuchar salad tweet.
She
2 days
retweets
ago.
your stuff a lot.
Well, I consider Dana, an acquaintance.
Dana's
And
my hero.
Chris, Chris, her husband, he and I are, we're a little more connected than. But Dana's gotten big, man. That she's
girl.
busy. She gets it
deals
going
with-
and coming. She's on my prayer list, man. I
Yeah.
make sure that I'm shooting them up for Dana and the family because they deal with some crap, dude.
It's
But,
bad. She's just such a strong woman. I mean, the fact that she can sit there in the middle of a firing squad, essentially, no pun intended, but like after Parkland and just get that. I mean, I don't know if you heard about like what actually like went on, like her,
Oh yeah,
like
absolutely.
I mean, her life is probably constantly in danger of something, of somebody. And what's so funny is these people, we like peace. We don't like violence. We want everybody to have health care and we want to have clean air and blah, 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 blah. But screw you and F you and we're going to come and kill you and
your children and
your
all that,
children
yeah.
and we're going to dox you. And it's like, wow.
I defy anybody out there that wants guns to go away. I defy you. I put the challenge out there on her behalf. Debate Dana Loesch. Debate her.
Seriously,
Good luck.
that would be like a
chew you up
like a
and spit you
UFC
out.
battle type of thing. She will chew you.
She will hammer down on you.
Honestly, I would love to see AOC debate with literally anybody.
Anyone.
Specifically Ben Shapiro. If she, like, I don't think that.
It wouldn't be like me talking to a 4-year-old.
Oh.
I mean, Ben Shapiro, first of
He will
all,
destroy
has a law degree and has an incredible mind. And somebody asked me the other day, I spoke down in, where were we, Steve? Houston or Austin? Austin. And, she said, do you know Ben Shapiro? I was like, yeah. She said, would you debate him? And I was like, no. I mean, that's what he does. Those guys, I'm not a debate. I don't want to debate anybody. I just want to talk to people. But that's what they do. Mm-hmm. They're debaters.
But like, if she wanted to, and the funny thing is, I don't remember seeing.
I knew what you were going to say, Steve. You
Oh my
dirt
gosh.
They're
bag.
master debaters.
He's dad jokes, dirty dad jokes by Party Foul. No, she's
Please
just
direct.
like,
I'm sorry, Katie.
No,
please
you're fine.
direct all emails to steve@watchchad.com. There they go.
For
Okay.
saying master debaters.
He's really proud of that one. He loves that.
That's an old one.
I'm like
anyway,
12.
Katie, back to you.
No, I was just gonna say I don't remember any of the Democratic candidates debating with each other. I mean, I remember The Ted Cruz and Beto, I knew that. But, like, did AOC really debate it? Did Maxine Waters debate anybody? Not supposed to debate anybody?
I don't even know who AOC honestly ran against. Because she got so much.
Oh, Crowley.
Crowley, yeah. So she got, that's right. Because she got so much press and so much media out of the whole thing that I was like, oh, I can't believe she won. But I was like, well, of course she was going to win. She was a shoo-in based on the media's
How? They're a
coverage
bunch
on the
of
deal.
smart people living in one of the most, I hate
They're
to
pissed
say,
at her.
yeah.
This Amazon thing, this Amazon thing, when she lost them, 25,000 jobs with an average of $150,000 salaries per deal. I mean, that right there. And she thought she did something good.
The fact she said, did you see that tweet? I was like, if you have $25,000 and you go into pizzas and you have $300 and you want to use coupon for pizzas and then you have more pizzas and it's like, wait, what? Literally everybody I saw was like, okay, am I missing something? I was like,
Well, it's
no,
like,
nobody
okay, so
understands.
that's the same as saying, she was making up money. I mean, she's saying, well, I saved us, $3 billion in tax. No, the $3 billion would have existed had you brought in the $25 billion
yeah,
from
she's
Amazon
saying like the
being
jobs
there.
were subsidized and all this stuff, and it's like, you have an economics degree, which I am strongly questioning that degree that you got, because you clearly do. And the fact is, like, she's bragging about paying her salaries of $52,000 a year or whatever. And people are like, well, she gets the money. She can allocate it how she wants. Yeah, but it's our money. Yeah. And that's what she's not really letting her fans, I guess, in on. It's our money.
Okay, and that's what you were talking about earlier, referring to her having a location there in the Bronx. She doesn't even have an office there right now because they say that it's being built. She's like, well, the sheetrock's still being hung and all that. You know what you do? You go, you rent an apartment and you put a phone line in there and somebody answers that phone.
Exactly.
Because you have a constituency out there, people that put you in office and they're making phone calls to you're not the boss. You work for the people of the Bronx. You're the employee for this deal. But that right there is so telling. And it's just like after the State of the Union when the other senator or the other congresswoman who was sitting next to her, what's her name? So irrelevant.
What?
Who said
She was a Nevada lady,
I have
right?
a name and you should fear us. Why should we fear you?
Oh, she told 16, 17 CJ Pearson?
16 CJ Pearson.
16-year-old that. What is wrong with you people? These people are kids.
I love CJ. CJ's a buddy. So CJ and I are from the same hometown in Augusta, Georgia. I'm
from Marietta.
Are you? Come here to me. Another fist bump. So I grew up and then went to University of Georgia. But CJ and I were talking the other day, and great kid, first of all. And he's in Augusta. I'm from Augusta, and so we got connected before I even knew he was in Augusta. But anyway, we have a blast. And sit down in that seat over there, Metro Jason, because I want you. Steve left. He went to the potty, I guess.
Party foul.
Yeah, he doesn't understand how television works. You just don't get up in the middle of the shoot.
Listen, we were shooting an episode. We were shooting an episode of Humor Me for Blaze TV the other day, and we were like trying to shoot this deal at my house where we're sitting on the couch and we're talking, and Steve's sitting over there, and he just scoots his or the stool back, and he goes, and I was like, do you realize how cussed out you would be if you were in Hollywood right now and you just did that?
Like, I know we walked in when we came in, but I kind of knew that was gonna we did it on purpose.
But that's part of our show.
But he left to go to the bathroom. Like, that's like in the middle of a game. Like, okay, coach, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Hey, coach, I know I'm in right field, but I gotta pee.
I've always wondered
coach.
if they did that. Like, what if they do have to go to the bathroom?
They go in between innings.
I peed when I was 6 years old. I was in right field and I peed my pants. That's a true
They
story.
do that.
The more you know.
Yeah, my
They
first
do
year of organized ball, playing t-ball, I had to go and I pissed my pants right there in right field. There was a reason I was in right field, and I sucked.
One day
I
I worked the World Series one year, so they go in between innings.
Yeah,
What about if you're like an NBA player or
Then
NFL?
you gotta hold it. You gotta pee
hold till
before the
halftime.
game.
I mean,
Well,
Plus,
you're
you're
drinking
not
so
gonna-
much Gatorade and water.
you're pouring it out of your spores.
You're
when working
dehydrated.
out.
Well, that's true.
You're
And I guess
sweating
bench
so
warmers
much.
have to, regulate.
You're sweating so much. You're wearing the wool. George Costanza put them in cotton. The Yankees in cotton. And who knew cotton shrunk? But you're sweating it out. You don't have
You're
to pee.
sweating it out.
Yeah.
Oh, here he is.
Hey, Steve, welcome back to the program. I'm glad that did everything come out okay?
Oh my
That's
God.
great. It's fantastic. Anything goes here. There he is. Boom. There he is back in the peanut gallery.
No, this is the hair gallery.
Hair gallery.
It's the hair gallery.
Today it's the hair gallery.
Do not start changing around my things, okay? Look at that hair.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
that's.
I don't identify as a peanut.
How are we doing on time, Mark?
We are over an hour.
We're over an hour, so we're going to wind this thing up. Katie, here's the thing. I want everybody to go follow you on Twitter because you're a blast, but I want you, like I have this vision, and you guys agree with me because that's what you do. I almost have this idea that Katie should almost be a regular part of this podcast. Like she should like constantly give us the perspective and have her own little Katie seat over there, and we could put her in the peanut gallery, but we won't call it the peanut gallery because Katie will be in it, and that
would be fabulous.
I think we should do that.
You could use a female touch around all these macho men.
I know.
All this toxic masculinity.
I'm fine to be
Sean
bumped.
just got bumped.
Our couch is getting longer and longer and longer because we're outgrowing Studio 22. We're actually in the process of building over in the other building there. We're building out another sound stage. In a couple of months, I got a feeling we're going to be over there. It's going to be much more bougie. Sean will be more at home. We're going to have more lights. We're going to have more set. We're going to have more opportunity. I don't know if Silent Herbert will make it over, the deer, but we're going to it's going to be a little more of a talk show type feel, but I like the dynamic we have over here in Studio 22 because we'll have to rename it Studio 22 when we go over there.
Taking that right off the wall. 22 off the wall. Off the door.
Jimmy Fallon does a good job with bringing the roots in. He has the whole band always in the
That's what I want.
That's true. The Roots?
Not them, but I want, so eventually you watch, Mark, eventually, this is going to get complicated because eventually on the Chad Prather Show, we're going to bring in music elements. We're going to have music.
All right.
This thing is ultimately going to be a major talk show. You watch and see. We're going to do this thing. We're going to have music. We're going to have you guys. We're going to have everybody. And everybody's going to have a place to sit. And we're going to but I think, like, Katie has an opinion. And I appreciate it. And I love the fact that you're willing to tell the truth. Like, you're like, yeah, I was outraged.
Yeah. I mean, I'll see it from all sides, and I'll tell you exactly, Yeah. And I'll admit when I'm wrong, too. And that's something that, like, I do pride myself on because I don't want to go around being an ignorant idiot. Like, that is not appealing to me in any way. Like, to just go around think I know everything and, like, don't take anybody's opinion. That's not cute. Yeah. So, like, if I'm wrong, I want to learn. And I love learning and stuff like that, but I'll tell you if you're wrong. Like, I will straight up tell you if you're wrong.
That's what we love. It's like, Steve, we were driving over here today, and Steve goes, I'm always sitting over here in the peanut gallery thinking about, how can I disagree with this person, or what can I come up with? And I'm like, Steve, just quit. You're not smart enough to.
I try, though. I'm thinking of stuff all the time.
I'm thinking of stuff all the time.
I disagree with you. I'm a lot smarter than you think. Maybe not that
Steve's
smart.
Like, I just want to ask him like an opposing opinion. How can I disagree with this person? I'm like, I find myself just agreeing with them nonstop. I'm like,
whatever you say, sir.
So hard hitting. Well, you're edgy journalism, Steve.
Edgy.
Steve, what do you think about? Like, on a day-to-day basis?
There's a lot of white noise in that
head
head buzzing around there.
I'm just thinking, my whiskey glass is empty. I'm thinking,
I need to pee.
Am I going to get out of here after the 5 o'clock traffic?
Yes.
He's being 100% truthful, too, now. He's probably
right.
exactly thinking that. That's wonderful.
So you were talking about people that disagree and liberals and blah, 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 blah. Look, conservatives and liberals, whatever, they're all obnoxious. We're all obnoxious. We're just, that's human nature. We're obnoxious. But let's face it. There's not a single person in this room that agrees on everything. There's different political ideologies, Sean, and there's all kind of different. There's different ways of looking at the world, but we all get along. You manage to do it because, again, and people have heard me say it over and over and over again. There's a difference between the virtual world and the real world. We tend to get the two confused.
Yeah, absolutely. So. And here's to hoping more human interaction, face-to-face interactions, and not so much of the keyboard warrior stuff because it's getting exhausting. Yeah. But it's fun in the meantime. I will say that.
Well, I'm glad you came on, and I'm serious when I say we're gonna do more and more. I want you to be. I told you this via text the other day. I was like, I think you need to be a part of what we're doing here.
Thank you so much. It was a great time. Yeah. Loved it.
It's good stuff. Well, thank you for watching the Chad Prather Show. We made it easy for you because everybody said we want to be able to watch it on video, and then we put it out there, and people said, "Oh man, it's too long. We don't," and they just don't watch it. Scroll by. That's the thing. But this is a podcast. You just happen to get to watch us, and we're just laid back. We're chill. We're having fun, and we got great guests on here. But I encourage you, if you're watching this, still go. You can go to theblaze.com. You can find my show on there, and you can find anywhere podcasts are offered. Anywhere. Apple Podcast, Google, Stitcher, SoundCloud, all these different things. Subscribe. That way you get the download notification. We need that. I want you following. It's a shame. It's a shame that with 5 million social media followers, we're not doing tens of thousands every week. So anyway, that right there tells you how bad social media and Facebook and all these things are shutting us down. Mm-hmm. They're shutting down the algorithm when you try to tell people to go out there and do these things. Oh, well, we're just going to keep fighting through the thing. Katie, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yep.
Great time.
You're a blast. Hang around. We're gonna have some fun here in Studio 22. Who knows? We just party. We just sit around here and drink apple juice all day long. That's all we do. But go to blazetv.com/Chad. You can use promo code Chad, save you a little bit of money, and subscribe because you don't want to miss out on our Humor Me episodes, which Metro Jason and Bougie Sean worked so hard on to make it happen. And go watch my sit-down exclusive interview with Jussie Smollett. And follow Katie on Twitter, Katie T.
121.
121.
Close.
I knew that.
You're in the ballpark.
There it is. It's on the screen. Katie T. 121. I love it. All right. I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Mark, our director, thanks for being here, buddy. Making the magic happen. Love y'all. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.